some of the differences between a 1 and a 4-year-old, though. At 1, their goal is to master mobility. At 4, the mobility is used for exploration. You see them running all over the room and picking up stuff and almost get annoyed by them. At 1, they'll imitate sounds that you make. By 4, they're starting to master spoken language and communicate their thoughts. They'll, at 1, manipulate physical world to learn. At 4, they use mental symbols, and also at 4, they pursue relationships separate from the parent. But at 1, their sense of self begins to be connected to the parents. So that's kind of like all that your whole world is at the age of 1, is whoever that one important adult in your life is. Parents, caretaker, mom or dad, whoever is there the most. Now in the biophysical dimension, girls develop gross and fine motor skills slightly before boys. So actually girls grow up faster than boys too. Did you notice growing up you guys were taller than the boys first, and then usually the boys catch up at like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. So also gross motor skills like running and jumping, then fine motor skills, building towers, and even doing a zipper. Then in physical play, some of the strengths, like if your nutrition is good, we've mentioned food deserts and the inability to have good nutritious food in some of our inner cities. Because it's dense and packed in with buildings, there's not as many farms. Even some of the countryside out here, it's almost like a food desert. So because of that, it's easier to eat processed foods that like keep good for a long time in a bag, like chips. So 1 in 3 children are obese before age 5, which is above 85% on the BMI. With physical play, trying to find ways to get kids out into the green space is important. Some of the hazards growing up could be asthma, that mentions. Then after the physical dimension, the cognitive development, Piaget calls it the pre-operational stage. So at 2 to 4 years, symbolic function, you can mentally represent objects like playing house. So you can have a doll house and you can act like mom and dad came home from work and they cooked a nice meal of like hoagie sandwiches and everybody's happy. But you can't do that at the age of 1. It takes like up until the age of 4. But you still have that egocentrism. So you can't distinguish others' perspective from their own. And that's where I want to show you guys a funny video. I'll show you on Monday, where kids are looking at a video, or they're looking at like 3 mountains is what they always use. And then there's trees. And then the kids, the adult asks, what do you see? And they'll say like 3 mountains and trees. And then they have them switch sides and they say, what do you see? They say, I see the trees and the mountains in the background. What do you think I see? And then they always say what at age 4, you can't think of like somebody else's eyes looking at that target. So it's hard to describe. It's pretty funny and cute video. So it's the 3 mountain problem is what they call it. And they have a hard time describing when they get on the other side what those mountains look like. So remind me to start with that one on Monday because I have to cruise on out of here as promised. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, any mental health diagnosis you wanted to talk about? Is there one that's a favorite to you? Like a lot of people did addiction, some did anorexia, some do bipolar and depression, others do child poverty, malnutrition. So there's a lot. Yeah, the syllabus lists like 10 or 12 topics you can pick from too. So I'm thinking you can. Yep. It's totally up to you what you guys want to present on. I have to make it to Cincinnati by 4, so that's why you see me scooting like, woo. Stay warm. It's going to be 7 degrees tonight.